Hello, thoughtful Libra. There are moments in life that quietly invite you to listen more closely to yourself, especially when the noise of expectations has made your own voice difficult to hear. It is easy to become so accustomed to meeting the needs of others that your own inner guidance begins to fade into the background. This reflection centers on that invitation to return to the quiet place within you where your truest answers have always existed. You may find yourself longing for greater security, deeper fulfillment, and relationships that honor who you truly are. But those qualities begin to grow when your choices come from clarity instead of fear. Real stability is not created by controlling every outcome. It is built through the confidence that you can trust yourself, even when life feels uncertain. Ask yourself honestly, are you responding to what genuinely feels aligned, or are old doubts still deciding for you? A lasting sense of abundance often begins with the way you relate to yourself. Long before external circumstances begin to change, your inner dialogue shapes what you notice, what you believe is possible, and what you feel worthy of receiving. When worry becomes your constant companion, even meaningful opportunities can be difficult to recognize because your attention remains fixed on what might go wrong. But when you gradually replace self-doubt with trust and thoughtful intention, your perspective begins to shift in subtle yet powerful ways. Challenges stop appearing as proof that you are failing and instead become evidence that you are growing. Think of your inner world as something carefully crafted over time, where every challenge, every conversation, and every difficult decision refines your judgment instead of diminishing your confidence. Each experience adds another layer of wisdom, helping you distinguish between fear that keeps you small and intuition that gently guides you forward. One gentle way to support that process is by creating simple rituals that bring you back to yourself. These moments do not need to be elaborate to be meaningful. Their power lies in the consistency with which you return to them. Spend a few quiet moments writing honestly about the choices that keep asking for your attention, not to force an outcome, but to understand what truly matters beneath the surface. Sometimes the answer you are searching for appears only after you have given yourself permission to write without judgment. Follow that with a brief period of stillness, whether through meditation, mindful breathing, or simply watching the steady glow of a candle. Let your thoughts settle naturally instead of trying to silence them. These small practices help calm mental noise so your intuition has room to speak with greater clarity, allowing your decisions to emerge from calm awareness rather than emotional urgency. This reflection reaches beyond finances or professional success. It is also about creating harmony between your mind, body, emotions, and values, because lasting fulfillment rarely comes from achievement alone. Caring for yourself is not a luxury. It is part of how you remain present for everything else that matters. Move your body in ways that feel joyful, nourish yourself with intention, and notice which environments leave you feeling peaceful rather than depleted. Pay attention to the emotional atmosphere around you as carefully as you would your physical surroundings. The relationships you choose to nurture should strengthen your connection with yourself, not pull you further away from it. The more your daily life reflects your authentic values, the easier it becomes to recognize the difference between temporary comfort and genuine inner peace. The image of the King of Pentacles can be understood here as a symbol of grounded wisdom rather than a promise of guaranteed outcomes. It reflects someone who has grown through experience, developed patience, and built stability, one thoughtful decision at a time instead of seeking immediate rewards. Their confidence is quiet because it has been earned through persistence rather than appearances. If this archetype resonates with you, let it remind you to focus your energy where it has lasting value. Ask yourself which commitments deserve your full attention and which habits or obligations have quietly outlived their purpose. Sometimes true maturity is revealed not by how much you can carry, but by your willingness to release what no longer contributes to the life you are intentionally creating. Your greatest strength may not come from doing more, but from recognizing what truly deserves your presence. Libra often has a natural gift for seeing many perspectives, yet that same gift can sometimes make it difficult to decide where your energy belongs. When your daily actions reflect your deepest values, a steadier confidence naturally follows, because your choices begin to feel internally consistent. There is no need to chase every opinion or measure yourself through someone else's expectations. Instead, allow yourself to feel at home within your own judgment, protecting your peace while remaining open to growth and genuine connection. The more secure you become in your own values, the less you will feel compelled to seek constant reassurance from the outside world. Receive these reflections as invitations rather than certainty. Some ideas may feel deeply familiar, while others may simply not belong to your current experience, and both responses are equally valid. Astrology is often most meaningful when it encourages self-observation rather than unquestioning belief. Every person's journey unfolds differently, shaped by unique experiences, relationships, and choices. So trust your own discernment above any outside interpretation. Let what resonates become something to reflect on and allow the rest to pass without resistance. There is wisdom in remaining open without feeling obligated to make every message fit your own story. If symbolic reminders help you pause and reconnect with your intentions, you might choose a meaningful number that represents balance or partnership for you. Or surround yourself with colors that evoke calm, such as soft blue, sage green, or ivory. Rather than treating these as signs of luck, think of them as quiet reminders of the qualities you wish to cultivate within yourself. Every time those symbols catch your attention, let them become an invitation to take one deeper breath or return to your center. Sometimes the smallest symbols quietly remind us to return to ourselves throughout ordinary moments, and those gentle pauses can gradually reshape the way we move through everyday life. You may also notice that your body has been asking for more rest than you've been willing to give it. Responsibility is one of your strengths, yet it can become easy to carry unfinished work into every corner of your life until even moments of relaxation begin to feel like another task to complete. Give yourself permission to pause, even briefly, and let your mind settle before moving forward again. Rest is not stepping away from your purpose. It is what allows you to meet it with renewed presence, clearer judgment, and greater emotional resilience. Very often, the clarity we've been searching for arrives not while you are pushing harder, but while you are finally allowing yourself enough space to breathe. Perhaps you are also moving through a subtle emotional transition. Some recent experiences may have left behind disappointment or uncertainty, but they have also revealed valuable truths about what you need and what you no longer wish to carry. Even difficult chapters have a way of revealing the standards you want your future relationships and experiences to reflect. Moments of melancholy may still appear from time to time, yet they do not define your direction, nor do they erase the progress you have already made. Rather than remaining attached to what has already taught its lesson, continue turning your attention toward the version of yourself that is learning to choose peace, honesty, and balance with greater confidence. Each thoughtful decision strengthens that version of you, making it easier to move forward with quiet trust in your own heart, rather than lingering attachment to what has already been outgrown. A quiet renewal may be taking shape within you as you begin releasing disappointments you've carried for far too long. There may have been times when your kindness, generosity, and genuine care were offered freely, yet little seemed to return in ways that nourished your own heart. Perhaps you became so accustomed to giving that you barely noticed how often your own emotional needs were quietly placed aside. Whether within friendships, family, or close relationships, you may have spent years hoping others would meet you where you stood, believing that if you loved a little more or understood a little better, the balance would eventually restore itself. One of the most meaningful shifts begins when you recognize that not everyone is capable of offering what you have been searching for, and that realization says far more about their limitations than it does about your value. Accepting this truth is not an act of resignation. It is an act of emotional freedom that allows you to stop carrying expectations that were never yours to fulfill. As that understanding settles in, your attention naturally turns inward. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to earn appreciation, you begin investing that same compassion in your own well-being. You slowly discover that self-respect grows each time you choose not to abandon yourself for the comfort of someone else. This is not about becoming distant or guarded. It is about learning that healthy relationships grow through mutual care rather than endless sacrifice. Balance is rarely created by giving everything away. It is created when generosity flows in both directions. The more honestly you honor your own needs, the easier it becomes to recognize the people and environments that restore your sense of balance instead of quietly draining it. As your inner boundaries strengthen, your relationships naturally become more authentic because they are no longer built upon silent compromises that leave you emotionally depleted. The Ace of Swords can be seen as a symbolic invitation toward greater clarity. Rather than predicting a specific event, it reflects the moment when confusion gives way to honest perception. It encourages you to look beyond appearances and ask whether your choices truly reflect your values, or simply your desire to preserve harmony at any cost. Old patterns of emotional manipulation, self-doubt, or people-pleasing become easier to identify, allowing you to make decisions that feel more aligned with your values. For Libra, whose greatest strength often lies in thoughtful discernment, this clarity is less about winning battles and more about recognizing which connections deserve your trust and which no longer reflect the person you are becoming. Sometimes the clearest answer is not found in proving yourself right, but in quietly recognizing where your piece has been asking for your attention all along. The Chariot offers another meaningful image, not of relentless conquest, but of learning to guide your energy with intention. Its message is not that life suddenly becomes effortless, but that your direction becomes steadier once your priorities are no longer competing with one another. Progress becomes steadier when your actions reflect your priorities instead of outside expectations. Even periods of distance or unanswered questions can encourage deeper self-awareness, helping you discover that your direction does not depend on someone else's response. You begin trusting that your path remains valid even when immediate reassurance is unavailable. Moving forward with patience and purpose often creates a stronger foundation than rushing towards certainty, because lasting confidence is built through consistency rather than urgency. Judgment speaks to the gradual release of experiences that have already taught you what they needed to teach. Emotional disappointments, old regrets, or unresolved chapters may begin losing their hold as you integrate their lessons instead of reliving them. Rather than asking why something happened, you may find yourself asking what it revealed about your needs, your values, and the relationships you truly wish to cultivate. Hope grows naturally when you stop looking backward for validation and begin recognizing the healthier connections that resonate with who you are now. The star complements this reflection by reminding you that renewal often begins with quiet faith in yourself before it appears anywhere else. Like light gradually returning after a long night, self-trust rarely arrives all at once, but each small act of honesty with yourself strengthens it until it becomes something you no longer question. Rather than promising perfect outcomes, these symbols encourage openness to relationships built on honesty, communication, and mutual respect. They remind you that genuine stability grows from everyday choices rather than dramatic turning points. Someone may inspire fresh conversations or a renewed sense of possibility, while creative pursuits and personal goals benefit from the confidence that comes from acting in alignment with your values. As you become more comfortable expressing your needs openly, you also create more space for others to meet you with equal sincerity. The Ten of Pentacles reflects the deeper meaning of lasting stability, not simply financial comfort, but the satisfaction of building a life where emotional security, supportive relationships, and meaningful work reinforce one another over time. Its message is ultimately about creating a foundation that continues to support you because it has been built upon authenticity instead of obligation. Your physical well-being appears supported, yet emotional tension may occasionally surface beneath the routine of daily responsibilities. Sometimes stress reveals itself not through obvious exhaustion, but through subtle restlessness, difficulty relaxing, or the feeling that your mind never completely slows down. Instead of dismissing those feelings, allow them to remind you that connection is part of your resilience. Spending time with trusted friends, meaningful conversations, or simply feeling understood can restore perspective in ways that isolation rarely can. Solitude certainly has its place, especially for reflection, but lasting balance often grows through relationships where you can be fully yourself, without feeling the need to perform. The people who make you feel safe enough to be authentic are often the very people who help you remember your own strength. Professionally, you may begin recognizing the value of efforts that once seemed unnoticed. Work that felt slow to develop often carries deeper roots than success that appears overnight. Projects developed with patience or skills refined over time often reveal their importance gradually rather than all at once. You may discover that abilities you once underestimated have quietly become some of your greatest assets. If you are pursuing new opportunities, continue refining your approach instead of becoming discouraged by temporary delays. Libra's natural desire for excellence can become a quiet strength when it is guided by curiosity instead of perfectionism. Every thoughtful improvement you make today contributes to a level of confidence that cannot be shaken by short-term setbacks. Financially, this reflection encourages a healthier relationship with security rather than chasing quick rewards. It asks you to see abundance not only as what you accumulate, but also as the peace that comes from making choices you genuinely trust. Greater discernment helps you recognize opportunities that genuinely align with your long-term values, while avoiding decisions driven by pressure or fear. Conversations, agreements, or practical plans may offer meaningful progress, not because circumstances suddenly transform, but because your judgment has become steadier through experience. You have learned enough from past disappointments to recognize the difference between genuine opportunity and temporary distraction. The stability you are building grows from intentional choices, thoughtful planning, and a clearer understanding of what truly deserves your energy. If you are sharing your life with someone, this can be a meaningful opportunity to deepen mutual understanding through small, sincere moments of presence. Lasting intimacy is often strengthened through ordinary conversations, shared routines, and the willingness to remain emotionally available even during life's quieter seasons. Relationships flourish when both people feel heard, respected, and free to express themselves honestly. The strongest partnerships are not those without differences, but those where both individuals continue choosing understanding over assumption and compassion over defensiveness. Rather than seeking perfection, allow genuine communication and emotional balance to become the foundation on which lasting closeness continues to grow. As trust deepens through consistent care and honest dialogue, your relationship becomes less about meeting expectations and more about creating a shared space where both of you are free to keep growing together. If you are sharing your life with someone, this chapter invites you to enjoy the simple moments that remind you why you chose one another in the first place. Genuine closeness often grows through everyday conversations, shared laughter, quiet routines, and the quiet confidence that comes from feeling emotionally safe together. It is often the ordinary moments rather than the extraordinary ones that quietly strengthen a relationship over time. As your connection deepens, you may naturally begin reflecting on the kind of future you would like to build side by side. Rather than feeling pressured by milestones, allow each shared decision to arise from mutual understanding, respect, and a vision that feels meaningful to both of you. Lasting commitment is rarely built by rushing toward the next chapter. It grows when two people continue choosing one another through patience, honesty, and shared purpose. Not everyone around your relationship will immediately understand it, and that is perfectly natural. Some family members or loved ones may need time before they fully recognize your intentions or trust the path you have chosen. Their opinions are often shaped by their own experiences, hopes, or fears, rather than the reality of what you and your partner have created together. Their uncertainty does not have to become your burden. What carries the greatest weight is the care, honesty, and consistency you bring into your partnership, because trust is often earned quietly through actions rather than explanations. Over time, genuine character speaks far more convincingly than repeated attempts to prove yourself. If you are single, memories of someone from your past may occasionally return, whether through a conversation, an unexpected encounter, or simply your own reflections. Certain people have a way of resurfacing in our thoughts when we ourselves are changing, inviting us to reconsider not only who they were, but who we have become. Rather than asking whether another chance is possible, a more meaningful question is whether reopening that chapter truly honors the person you have become. Time can change perspectives, yet lasting growth is measured by actions rather than promises. Before revisiting what once caused pain, give yourself permission to ask whether you are drawn by genuine compatibility or simply by familiarity. Sometimes we mistake what is familiar for what is meant to continue, when in reality those are not always the same thing. Sometimes we outgrow experiences long before we realize we have done so. Looking back with compassion is very different from stepping backward into patterns that no longer support your well-being. The distance you have traveled emotionally deserves to be acknowledged, even if your progress has been gradual and largely invisible to others. You are not the same person who once accepted less than you deserved, and your choices deserve to reflect that growth. There is quiet wisdom in recognizing when a closed door has already fulfilled its purpose, allowing your energy to remain available for relationships that meet you with equal care and respect. Every experience has shaped your understanding of what genuine reciprocity feels like, making it easier to recognize when it is finally present. Family connections may also invite a deeper understanding of one another. Old patterns surrounding emotional distance, expectations, or control can become easier to recognize when conversations are approached with patience instead of defensiveness. Sometimes healing begins not because everyone suddenly agrees, but because someone is willing to respond differently than they once did. Honest dialogue creates room for healing, not because every disagreement disappears, but because everyone becomes more willing to listen before reacting. Whether your family is biological or chosen, the relationships that encourage authenticity deserve your time and attention. The strongest family bonds often leave enough space for every person to grow without asking them to become someone they are not. You may also discover renewed joy through younger family members or simply through moments that remind you not to carry every responsibility so seriously. Playfulness has a way of restoring perspective, allowing affection to flow more naturally where tension once existed. Even brief moments of laughter or shared experiences can soften worries that once felt overwhelming. A peaceful home is not built through perfection, but through an atmosphere where both individuality and connection are respected. The steadier you become within yourself, the more your presence naturally brings reassurance to those around you. Emotional stability is often contagious, quietly encouraging others to lower their own defenses as well. Your emotional energy may feel especially available for creating, supporting, and encouraging others, yet generosity is most sustainable when it includes yourself as well. Libra's caring nature can sometimes make it easy to carry responsibilities that were never truly yours, believing that keeping everyone comfortable is the same as creating harmony. Continue offering kindness where it is appreciated, but remember that healthy compassion includes boundaries. If someone has repeatedly shown that they cannot respect your trust, allow experience, not wishful thinking, to guide your decisions. Protecting your peace is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of self-respect. The relationships that flourish most naturally are often those where care flows freely in both directions, instead of resting on one person's shoulders alone. Communication deserves particular care. Libra often values harmony, yet there are moments when honesty must be balanced with sensitivity. Speaking only to avoid conflict can leave important feelings unspoken, while speaking without consideration can create unnecessary distance. Words can strengthen relationships just as easily as they can leave lasting wounds, so choose them thoughtfully. Speaking with clarity does not require abandoning compassion, and true understanding often grows when both are present together. The conversations that change relationships most deeply are rarely the loudest ones. They are the ones where both people genuinely feel heard. If you are studying or developing new skills, continue appreciating steady progress instead of measuring your worth through flawless results. Every lesson you master, every mistake you correct, and every challenge you overcome contributes to a deeper confidence that cannot be created overnight. Your desire to improve can become a remarkable strength when it inspires curiosity rather than perfectionism. Growth is rarely defined by a single achievement, but by the consistency with which you continue learning, adapting, and trusting your own abilities. Give yourself permission to celebrate progress that may seem small, because those quiet victories often become the foundation for much greater accomplishments. Some relationships may feel particularly supportive during this chapter, especially those built on patience, mutual respect, and emotional maturity rather than constant excitement. Notice how different it feels to spend time with people who allow you to relax into your authentic self instead of constantly questioning where you stand. Pay attention to the people who help you feel more grounded, more understood, and more like yourself. These connections often become the quiet foundation beneath meaningful personal growth, reminding you that balance is something you create together rather than something you search for alone. The right relationships rarely demand that you become someone else. Instead, they encourage the very qualities that have always been waiting to flourish within you. As this reflection comes to a close, remember that astrology is best received as an invitation to observe yourself more deeply, not as a set of fixed answers. Every symbol and every interpretation is most valuable when it encourages greater self-awareness rather than certainty about the future. Keep what genuinely resonates with your own experience and allow the rest to pass without resistance. If these reflections have offered you a moment of clarity or quiet encouragement, your support through a like or subscription helps this community continue growing and allows these conversations to reach others who may be seeking the same sense of reflection. Thank you for sharing your time, your openness, and your presence here. May you continue moving forward with greater balance, self-trust, and the quiet confidence that comes from living in harmony with your own heart, carrying those qualities with you wherever your journey continues to unfold.